species is not the one that is an incredible endangered species. Okay, it is all sea turtles are endangered species because less than 30% of the original population is gone. I mean, we only have less than 30% of what it used to be. So they all endangered species. However, there's one that is definitely what we call almost extinct, which is the hawksbill and the leatherback. Those two species are almost gone. The leatherback is the one that is the giant turtle. And instead, it's called leatherback because it doesn't have shell. It has skin, and it's like leather. Right? This other one, the other species, they all have shell. Some of them softer than others, but they all have shell. This particular one, this is the Olivicea, and this one is called in Espanol, Paslama. We do have bigger rivals in the south, however, all in the north, because of the extensive shorelines, you can see them a lot less, and because of the predators as well. The biggest predator that we have in Earth today is mankind. What they do is they dig the eggs out and they sell them for food. It is not a necessary food for us to eat, but it is an exquisite type of food. So it is rich. It used to be the rich men type of what do you call appetizers. Now it become very popular. Countries like El Salvador that are overpopulated and other countries consume a lot of this. They have a lot of demand for this. So that's why in Central America they've been disappearing. That's why we are now having this program. Okay? When we started this program, everybody bet that it was only 300 nests in Venecia, in Punta Venecia. There's about 16 kilometers of shoreline that way in the other side, and about another 10 kilometers on this side of the ocean. So we started the program, and we found out that there is about 1,000 to 1,500 nests a year. We cannot do it all because, of course, it is still a community-based program. Okay, so we can't live on conservation. Conservation alone is not sustainable. We already know that. If we try to just live on conservation, then none of us could eat half of the things we eat today, right? But what we do is now we are mixing tourism with conservation, and we're making these projects more sustainable. The only way this project will be sustainable is if we buy the eggs from the locals that are taking them to the market, and then we plant them into the ground, back into the ground, nurture them, and then they become baby sea turtle like the one you just saw. And then we'll release them back to the wild. So that program, it's what it's all about, but it's still more a community development project more than a conservation project. Okay, they go hand by hand because to make it sustainable, it has to be community-based. To be community-based, you have to pay the locals, so they don't have to go. If we're going to stop them from doing what they've been doing for hundreds of years, we need to find alternative for them, economic alternative, another job, so they don't do this. But if we don't have that alternative yet, then we need to pay them for what they're doing. So that's why this project is expensive, but it is sustainable with tourism. We bring tourists, we show them, they donate, for this kind of project. A little bit more about the sea turtle. Okay, it takes 45 days for them to hatch. That is the gestation period of the eggs. We get the eggs, we'll put them on the ground over there, on that black part. And the reason why we cover is because we need to control the temperature. Temperature has a lot to do with the sex determination of the egg. If the egg is on a higher temperature, it becomes a female. If it isn't of a lower temperature, it becomes a male. So we put the tarp on so we can keep the temperature of one control level higher than 28 degrees so we can reproduce females. So that is the process, right? These sea turtles, any sea turtle today, the survival ratio of it is 0.0029%, which means 3 out of 1,000 that we release in the wild will become an adult. Now, it is a rule of nature that they will come back and lay eggs only in the place they were born. So that, they're just like human in that case, right? We try to go and have our babies where we are born. We always return home. So that's what they do. But they will not return home until to lay eggs until they are at least, this particular species, 16 to 20 years old.
Oh, really?
Most other species go over 20 years old. So the hawksbill will return to lay eggs until they 20. The leatherback will return till they 24 because they're the bigger taller. This particular one is a little more. They reproduce a little faster, so they come back after 16, 17 years. They become an adult mother, be able to be a mom. So our program is that in 16 years, instead of 1,000 arrival, we want to see 5,000, 6,000 arrival. We are releasing up to today over 120,000 babies in our project. This year we were targeting for 50,000, but I think we're going to end up with about 25,000 again. Last year we did 25,000, and yeah, that's pretty much what this project is all about, and it's all to provide for our environment again. Now, why is the sea turtle very important? Well, they number one, they feed themselves of jellyfish. That's number one diet. So there are now beaches that they have no sea turtle, and they have plenty of jellyfish. They can eat in a day, in a 24-hour period, they can eat up to 27 pounds of jellyfish. Well, jellyfish is almost all water, so they eat it and it passes right out. But that's amazing, 27, you know what it looks, 27 pounds of jellyfish. Yeah, so that's very important for us.
When they go out, are they separate? They just go their own way?
Oh yeah. They find their own little spot. I mean, if you think of it, 975 of them will be eaten.
Yeah.
Right? Will become some fish. And this is the thing. Now we have another project that we're starting next season, or at the end of the season, which is we're going to keep them in the cages for 10 months. When you keep them in cages for 10 months, they grow up to 30 centimeters, which is about this big. Once you release them at 30 centimeters, then you cut all the predators. Because the number one predator is the small fish. The small fish like the snapper will open his mouth and swallow one of them, and that's it. Because they're so small right now. So a lot of them will become, fish food. But if we release them at 10 months old, then the survival ratio goes from 0.0029 to 70%. 70%. If we release 100, we will come back with 70. So that is a project we're working on. We are building the cages. We're almost done already. So next year we will have them in cages and we'll feed them and we'll clean them up. But we have to release them all the way in the ocean because from being in cage for 10 months, they lose track of direction because they're always in circle. You release them here and they go in circle all the time. So we have to take them in a boat and release them in the ocean. That way they already out there.